morning, everybody. It is day 18, or day one for me, June 12th. I started taking medication today that is supposed to help quickly, I said quickly, with the brain that I have and all the craziness I have. So this is day one slash day 18 of living with anxiety. Um, so I'm doing the day one part because I've never taken medication like this before. Um, I've always had a brain that kind of goes 4,000 miles an hour. And according to this new doctor, this pill will help control that. Don't know? We're going to find out. So last night, I did my podcast really late last night. I did it last night late because I had a long day where I was dealing with a lot of driving, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of things. My wife and I had an argument over nothing. She got home. We got not kissed and made up, but we made up. We figured it out. We talked. I also found out that my daughter can't come up in next week, which was kind of disappointing to me. And I kind of talked about what should I do. So every day I come on this platform and I kind of just talk about what's going on in my head and the things that I see and the things that stress me out and things that make things real. Make things real in the fact of make things that challenge me, stress me out, anger me, frustrate me. One is which the reflection on my glasses, but glasses in general. This is a sort of way my brain works. And some people go, well, you seem kind of manic, you seem kind of crazy, you seem kind of off, you seem kind of whatever. Other people have seen a progression slowly where they see that I'm changing slowly. And both are probably true. If you've never met me in person, you probably think I'm a little off. If you never met me in person, you probably think this might be a show. Some person commented to me that they think I'm faking all this. Cool, think that way. I'm not. It's really hard to fake this. I don't know how people do it if they do. If they do, you're great. I don't know how you do it. I can't do it. Anyway, getting back to the subject matter. Subject matter is this, okay? I live with anxiety. I live with stress. I live with, I guess, severe ADHD. And every day I wake up and I feel like there's a new challenge. Today's challenge is a couple of things. One, I got up, got the dogs going, went to our normal routine. I went to the county courthouse because something from 1994 is affecting some of my stuff for teaching. Went to the courthouse. They said, well, those records were destroyed. Why? There was an issue. Records are gone. I can't officially apply for a pardon. Why can't I apply for a pardon? Because I can't find the original documents. It's on a computer, but they can't find the original documents, which helps me get a pardon. So what do? I have to go in front of a judge to see if they decide to get rid of it. When can I see a judge? We'll let you know. So the balance of certain things I want to do in my life, I can't do because records were destroyed. I originally were told the records were fine, I'm all set, I'm good to go. But then I found out yesterday that, because the originals weren't found, they decided to pause letting them free until I see a judge. So now all of a sudden I have to see a judge. So they made me write a letter. Hey, why do you want to see a judge? I put down, hey, in 1994, I was homeless. I stole toothpaste, a toothbrush, and some soap. I got arrested. I paid a fine. I forgot all about it because, it was 31 years ago. It was March of 1994. I don't remember a lot other than I know my mother had made me leave because of the life I was living. She decided that my girlfriend, my life, everything I was doing was wrong. My girlfriend's family didn't exactly care for me much because them and my sister got into a little altercation. And my friends that I had, which were just one, he had moved away to Oklahoma with his mother because she decided to go back to college and, be an adult with an education. So Nate Shink, my best friend at the time and still he's family to me, he moved away to Oklahoma with his mother. Go to college. I had no place to live because I lived there my senior year. My wife, Lynn, was my girlfriend, Lynn, at the time. Her dad didn't exactly care for me much, so I didn't live there. My mother and that side of the family thought I was doing life wrong because I hadn't chosen them over others that I thought were, at the time, more important. So I wasn't welcome home. So I was sleeping on churches' doorsteps. Today's world, that's not, I'd hate to say it's normal, but no one blinks. We see homeless people. We hate it. I hate it. I physically, personally hate it. I worked as security at a store. If someone stole a toothbrush, toothpaste, and soap, you know what I'd say? Say, hey, yo, listen, I'll buy you the stuff. Just go. 1994, Hannaford / Shop and Save. I stole it. I admitted it. I said, hey, I need stuff. I think I got deodorant too. I think it was like $13 I stole. It was a $100 fine. Never thought of it. Go through some stuff yesterday. I went to the VA. Then I went to the Board of Education for the state of Maine trying to get some stuff figured out. And like, well, you know, you have this thing from 1994. I'm like, what thing? Well, you stole from Hannaford. I'm like, or Shop and Save. I'm like, so I started thinking back and I realized I did. I was from February of 94 till about June. I was homeless. Now, April, my wife and I broke up. Stopped seeing each other till end of June. And from March until June, when we got back together, and even April when we were together before that, I was bouncing around everywhere. I was sleeping on wherever I could find it. My most prominent place was this little church at the corner of Old Post Road and Route 1 in Kennebunk / Arundel. And no one, the people lived next door. They just didn't care. They just let me be. But I would walk to Hannaford and Bidrow, which is like a 2-mile walk, and I probably took food from there too. I'll admit it. I was hungry. There wasn't homeless system set up like it is today. It was a whole different world. It was set up to where if you're homeless, there's something wrong with you. Now it's, we have homeless facilities down the street from my house. We have homeless everywhere. We have people who aren't homeless who pretend to be homeless to get money. I worked with homeless veterans, and I think that's also near and dear to my heart because of what I experienced. But here's the point. The system we live in is so broken. The woman at the courthouse said, well, if it was a marijuana charge, she could just sign a piece of paper and go away. But because I was homeless and I stole a toothbrush, I have to go in front of a judge. Now, I'm not against marijuana. I'm not a big fan of marijuana. I don't do that stuff. I don't get how that's okay. I'm not going to tell people how to live their life, okay? It's legal. State of Maine says it's legal. Good to go. You do you, boo. But going to a courthouse, hearing the DA woman tell me that if it was a marijuana charge, she could just get it to go away with a swipe of a pen. But because I stole a toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, I think one other thing, but I can't remember what it was, soap. I have to go in front of a judge, and hopefully the next 2 to 3 weeks. And they'll expunge it if the judge deems me rehabilitated. Now, it's been 31 years. In that 31 years, I have joined the service. I have gone to other countries. I have fought for freedom. I have been a foster parent to many, many children. I've had other children who just kind of show up and stay. I've had a teaching gig or two, which is making difficult in the state of Maine now all of a sudden because of this. But New Hampshire I taught, Maine I've taught. I have volunteered and worked in churches. I have helped out companies and people through the pandemic. I have given time to homeless shelters. I worked with homeless veterans. I worked at soup kitchens. I've done so many things for positive. Now, have I done negative? Absolutely. I will admit it firsthand. I've done some really bad things. And I'm not proud of any of them. The thing from 1994 and 95 that are on my record. 95 is never going to go away. That's a whole different issue. But 94 could go away. And it just, to me, it seems stupid. It seems stupid because really, that's what we're judging it on. We have people who have done worse, but depending on what state you live in, it's either forgiven over time or expunged, or it stays on forever. Jelly Roll said the same thing. Singer. He basically went to his state and said, I can't vote. Why? Because my record will never be expunged. No matter how much good I do, how much time it is, I am always going to be a felon. What I found out yesterday is that a misdemeanor theft from 1994 will always be on my record unless I get a judge to sign off on it. Went to the the board for pardons, and they're like, well, you need the original documents. So I called the courthouse. Courthouse, we don't have the original documents. I said, why? Well, they were destroyed. We had an issue. Gave that letter to the pardon board. So, well, too bad. You have to see a judge instead. I didn't want to see a judge. I paid a lot of money to get a pardon. Honestly, I put money in. I'm never going to get that money back. So it's frustrating to me that we are held accountable for our deeds forever in this state. But if I go to another state, those things don't matter at all. It also drives me crazy that I can go to countries all over the world in a green uniform with a gun. But if I try to go there in a car with my wife, I can't do it. It's frustrating that I can go to countries and shoot at their people. Now, Americans can go to Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Africa, parts of Europe in the last, say, 70 years, parts of Europe in the last 50 years, 40 years, since Clinton. We can send people places with guns and blow them up, and we're welcome. But if you steal a toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, and soap, you can't go. So I'm having an issue. I'm going to Canada in 3 weeks. What I'm hoping is the document I got from this Canada saying I can go in is still viable now that all of a sudden 1994 has popped back up. So what I'm trying to do is see the judge before that. So if I get to the border and say, hey, this is showing up, I have a piece of paper from a judge saying, no, it's gone. So that way it doesn't hinder me. Because I'd hate to bring my wife all the way to Canada and then find out, well, something from 94 just showed up. It didn't show up before. It just showed up now. Why? Because they told me that all their lost documents, they had court number cases for. So it's basically a case number, and it says theft and the fine. It doesn't say what I did. It doesn't show the ticket. It doesn't show anything else. It just says misdemeanor, theft, fine $100. Here's the date. And I think that's crazy. It's crazy because I can't do anything but hope and pray a judge agrees with me. And if I go in there like this, he won't. So day one of this new medication, I am praying to all things holy that that this medication works, one, and two, when I go in there, I can keep myself together enough that I don't tick off a judge. That's a fear. It's a fear because my balance for what I want when I get healthy mentally is at stake. If you've ever done your dream job or ever done something that you're passionate for, and all of a sudden they tell you can't do it, and you can't do it because of this or because of this, because of this. Say you can't do it because mental health. So you go to the doctor, you get help for your mental health, and then you get better and you're ready to go. And then all of a sudden, something from your past comes up and you forgot all about it, or you didn't think it was a big deal because it was 30 years ago or 40 years ago or 50 years ago. And they tell you can't do it. It builds up on you because you start thinking to yourself, what am I doing wrong? What did I do to deserve this? Now, I have screwed up. I have not been the best father, best husband, best grandfather, best teacher, best human. I've never... sometimes you think, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? Who have I hurt? My wife thinks about jinxes, and I've thought about jinxes, and I don't think they're real. I don't think, God is smiting me for something. I don't feel like the world is against me most of the time, but sometimes it slips. It goes in. I think my sins of the past are causing this. And I've got a lot of sins in my past, and I've tried to work through them. I've tried to ask for forgiveness. I've tried to change my ways. I've tried to become a better human being. um, to not just atone, but to show others that you can be a total, complete idiot. You still can do good. When I lived with Nate, I did a lot of dumb things. I did. His mom, Sharon, amazing woman. They had a lot of grace with me. I was a hot mess. Okay, I did bad things, and I know it. I know it. I lied. I lied my senior year of high school. I said my dad died. Why? Honestly, I spent the summer with him, and when I went home, I'd asked my mom if I could live with him, and she said my dad didn't want me. And so I just said, fine, he's dead. So when I got home, I told everybody he was dead. Now, I told everyone that, and I thought, no one's going to care. Everyone cared. Now, I didn't tell my mother that. I didn't tell people that were really like my family that. I told people that I was close to at school that, and teachers that. And I told them that, not for sympathy. And a lot of people say, oh, you told them that for sympathy. No, I told them that because in my mind, my father had rejected me, and I didn't want to even think about it anymore. I was done being his son. And it hurt a lot. It hurt me a lot. Now, he came to my high school graduation. People found out he wasn't dead. And a lot of people stopped trusting me after that. And I get that. 100%. I get that. I deserve that. And I lived with that pain for years, that like black cloud. Until my mother passed away and I talked to my dad. And I told him that. And he's like, no, you don't understand. If you would have asked to stay, I would have kept you. I would have kept you. I would have let you stay. It was fine with me. I would have loved it. I believed my mother. Now, if I would have stayed, I would have met Lynn. If I wouldn't have met Lynn, I would have had my kids. I wouldn't have my kids. I wouldn't have my grandkids, and so on and so forth. And my life is good. My life is blessed. I live an amazing life with people that I love dearly. And even when they drive me absolutely crazy, I still love them. I have kids who are all over the world doing crazy, great things. I have people that love me, and it's amazing. I have people who I talked about in other videos who really care about what I think. I have people who I've talked about in other videos, and people I haven't talked in other videos who really care about who I am and what I say. I talk about students I have and how they respect me and how they care about me. And here's the reason the whole podcast started. And I've said this story, but I'm going to do a quick version. I'd love for him to watch this some one day, but he probably won't because I don't think he does that. Freshman year of high school, I got asked not to return to my junior high, to my public school. They weren't big fans of me. I did some bad things there too. Enrolled 2 days before school started. Took the entrance exam the day school started. And I was a hot mess. I was addicted to drugs. I was drinking a lot, and I was doing a lifestyle that was not great. And I went to school. My parents didn't want me at that school. My mom and stepdad were going through a divorce. No one wanted me there. My parents didn't. A lot of people went to the school after like 2 days didn't. But I had to go. Literally, God told me to. You don't have to believe in it. I do. Doesn't matter what you believe. It's what I believe, right? I had some really strong teachers, and they struggled with me. My fault mostly. Okay, I'm not going to lie. We had Mrs. Harriman, who was English. We had Mr. Moorhead, who was science, and then we had Mr. Ingracia, who was math and history. Those were our basics. Mr. Fournier for French, but that was later on. Mr. Anasico took over for a little bit too. And English, again, further down the line. Miss Harriman, Mr. Moorhead, I drove them absolutely crazy. I drove them crazy because I hated English. Not a big fan. Still isn't. I'm still not. I think the written word is played with too much. Books are edited and tweaked and fixed to sell, not to give the point of what the author is actually saying. I think we need to, sometimes we need to read the OG manuscript instead of the edited, but that's just my opinion. Not a popular opinion with English majors, but that's my opinion. Science, at the time, I believed most of what he was teaching me was hooey. I believe that science as a whole is a weird concept that we try to understand things we can't understand. And so we put words to it that make us sound smart. Like we put ology at the end of it, and all of a sudden we're scientists. I don't think that way. Sorry. Here's the thing. My history/math teacher, David Ingracia, he wasn't a teacher. He was a pastor who was teaching. Okay. And he had this thought that free thinking, free speaking, free understanding would help us learn more than him lecturing us every day on something that we didn't care about. So math class, I can do fine in math. Math was no problem. Math is 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. Okay. Algebra, no problem. X, Y, all that crap. I can do that. History, I always struggled with. Why? Because I didn't understand the point. First day of class. Hi, I'm David, Pastor. I'm Mr. Ingracia. I have a wife. I have some kids. I preach at the High Pine Baptist Church, which I don't think it's called that anymore. And he put the word history on the board. History. But he capitalized the S and the H. And then he put a line right through the S. And he says, okay, this is the deal. History is not names, dates, locations. It's a story. It's his story. Okay. So he goes back and he says, listen, everything connects. It's a story. History is a story that we tell throughout time. And depending on who you're listening to, where you're listening it to, is what history you're going to get. See, history is a story of how God created us, how man screwed up a lot. We fought a bunch. We changed things. We tweaked things. We invented things. We came to grips with things. And we grew and we changed and we understood more while also understanding less. He also was the first person to tell me something that's probably been said for millennia, but that's the first time I heard it. History is written by the victors of wars, not by their victims. We hear about the Holocaust. We hear about Anne Frank. We hear about Hitler. And we think, well, we won the war. Hitler bad. Hitler's bad. Okay, I have had podcasts taken down because people have thought that I've said Hitler's a good person. No. If Hitler won, though, would we be looking at the same? Probably not. In today's world, we call people Hitler out of randomly. There's been very few people who are Hitler. Donald Trump is not Hitler. He's not killing 6 million Mexicans because of because they're from Mexico. Okay, he's not a nice guy, but he's not killing 6 million of them because of where they come from. Mussolini, bad guy. Italians loved him. Italians now hate him. History. World War I, same thing. We call it the Spanish flu. The pandemic that killed a gajillion people in 1919. The Spanish flu, we call it that because the people who sailed around the world passed the pandemic that came out of Spain. They got the sickness from other places, but they sailed out of Spain, so we call it Spanish flu. Here's the battle I have every day is I look at these events. I look at the things that shaped me. And I go to myself, again, going back to the original concept of this. I'm going to go in front of a judge. And I'm going to say, listen, judge, thank you for hearing me. 1994, I screwed up. I graduated high school. I had no place to live. I was hungry. I was dirty. I was grimy. I wanted to take care of myself. I had no other option. I lost my job. I had no family that could take care of me. Because I was homeless, they gave me a fine and took me away to jail, and I took care of it. Sorry. But now this is ruining my life. It's ruining the chances I have to be something even better from 30 years ago. And I can tell him everything I've done, everything I've experienced, everything I've gone through. He doesn't have time for that. What he wants is the facts. But see, that's what we've lost. Okay. If you go by me, the person, from the day I was born to today, there's a long history of stories there. There's things that have made me who I am. From my parents divorcing, to my dad moving to Florida, to my stepdad coming in, to my Uncle Tony being in my life for a long time, to my stepdad leaving, to me leaving my house, to me going to a private school, to me finding my love of my life, my wife, to me having my children, to getting married, to having more children, to taking in extra children, to joining the military, to deploying to Afghanistan, to crazy things happening in Afghanistan, to coming home and getting more kids, to having injuries on my body and having them being taken care of, to getting my degree to be a teacher, to then being told you can't teach in this state, but you can teach in this state because this state doesn't care, but this state does. All of that makes me who I am. All of it makes me who I am, and that's what I have to do. And so who I am is this, okay? I've tried for years. I've tried for years to change. I've tried for years to be better. I have tried for years to not fix who I am, but show that I am trying to be better. Because of the household I was raised in, I felt like I needed to be a better parent. I needed to show up more. I need to be there more. I need to help more. And that has helped me most of my life. Not all of it. Some of it is, I've overdone it. I also felt like my parents weren't involved in my life in activities, so I've always tried to be involved in activities. The day I got home from deployment, the next day. The first day I got home from deployment, I spent with a woman who was dying. Her name was Janet. Amazing lady. She had cancer, and anyway, she was waiting for me to get home. I got home, she passed away shortly after. Then that night I spent with my wife, because she's my wife, and she gets first dibs. The next day, spent the day with my wife. My kids had a play, and it was called Murder at the Pie Auction, I think. Anyway, I surprised them in the middle of it, because I wanted to show them that I cared enough. I tweaked everything, my whole schedule, everything when I got home. I could have stayed at Fort Dix, got some stuff fixed because I had medical stuff going on, paperwork stuff going on. I said, no, I got to be there for my kids. So I gave up all of my health stuff, said my kids, I need to be there for my kids. And I did that for the first 2 years after I got home. I didn't work great. My work ethic was horrible. I worked jobs, but I was really bad at them because I kept stopping them or losing them because I wanted to spend more time with my kids. I missed them. I had gone basically 2 years without seeing them, and I said, screw this job. I don't need it. What I need is this. And then after that, I got hurt. I had a panic attack, and I went after my kids. They were in a hotel. And I kicked down a door and lost it. I ripped the door off the hinges. It was bad. And my wife told me, basically that was the straw that broke the wife's back. And she said, you need to get therapy. And I got therapy, and I realized, hey, I'm dealing with some stuff. And then I went to the VA again, and I got my rating, and I got my health care, and I got things taken care of. But see, here's the thing. 1994 was 31 years ago, and all the craziness that's happened then, I still am dealing with 1994. So that's the deal. I will continue to push to be better. I will continue to do more. I will continue to be better. I will continue to do my best to show the world that you can be a little batcrap crazy and still be okay, still be successful, still live a life with a family, with kids, with friends, with that. Okay. Um, I'm still going to be who I am. And I'm hoping the day I go to court, this is better. They told me I'd feel something pretty quickly. I don't know yet. Maybe tomorrow, maybe later today. I'm hoping this works. I really am. I'm hoping that I can get the help I need. I signed up for group therapy with the vet center. I'm hoping that starts next week, I think on Thursday. And I'll do that. I was going to do Springvale, but I guess their building has got issues, so I'm going to Portland. And that's the point of this podcast / video series / whatever. I'm not trying to put down anybody. I'm not trying to anger anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody upset. What I'm trying to do is I have problems in my brain. I talk them out. I figure it out. I figure out what works. Other people suggest me what works. And I've upset people, and I absolutely get it. I can't change what I say. I can't say, hey, rewind and erase. It doesn't work that way. But I will continue to strive to be better. I want you all to subscribe. I've had a lot of views lately. My viewer numbers are going up and up and up. I don't know if that's because I do it every day, or it's because more people are watching, or if it's because I have cool graphics that I'm trying out every day, or if it's just YouTube feels sorry for me and gives me numbers. I'd love you to subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment, do any of that stuff. But even if you don't, it's okay. What I want is, if I'm saying something that makes sense to you, please let me know. I want you to take it and use it. If something hits you and goes, wait, I'm dealing with that too, and I've done this, and maybe I should try that. Do that. If I'm giving you a suggestion that hits home, I don't care if you like, subscribe, or comment. I want you to be better. And I want to be better. So that's why I always ask people to comment. I get comments on Spotify, I get comments on YouTube, I get comments on my Facebook link. It's all different things I comment on. But the big point is this: I need to see progress in myself. And right now I haven't. Others have told me they see it. I haven't seen it yet. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous about going in front of a judge. I'm nervous about being like this when I do. And I'm nervous about disappointing the few people in my life that have stuck with me through all of this. I have 9 kids, and I've disappointed every one of them. Multiple times, probably. I have a wife of 30, almost 31 years, and I've disappointed her many, many times. And I don't want to. I don't like to. I know there's parents out there and spouses out there that don't care. It's my life, and if they don't like it, whatever. It's not my life. I was put on this planet for others. And those others are important to me. Everyone from, Grace to, Abby to Cameron to Chloe to Haley to Golden Child, Piper, Hayden, Sean, Josephine, Victoria, Lynn, David and Gracia. He's pretty important to me. My dad, my sisters. I was put on the earth to be part of their lives, to be part of their story, not to be a main chapter. I mean, if I'm a main chapter in your life, I'm sorry. I wish you had more in your life that could fill it. But to be a footnote, to be somebody that was part of your life enough that maybe I helped you see something for a day that was better. If it's from learning what a category mistake is, to whom Melchizedek is, to learning about the presidents, to the elements, to the Civil War, to what the word secession actually means, to the Revolutionary War and what Hamilton really means, not just the musical, to World War II, to World War I, to the Maccabean Revolt. to caring about kids who no one else cares about, to being a father to those who have no father, to being a brother, to being a son, to being a husband who cares. That's why I was put on the planet. I'm not here so I can get a gold star. I am here to help others in my life get a gold star. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that, I say and a lot and so a lot. I've realized that through all this too. That's my journey. And my journey is to help others get their gold star in life. Because anyone, doesn't matter if you're a genius or you score a 13 on a geography test. It doesn't matter if you're the best softball player in the world or you play and you break a bat or you knock your tooth out it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're good at basketball and you're the best. You're like Jordan or Bird or LeBron, or if you're just some schmuck at the end of the bench, or you're so bad you're not even on the bench. You're part of someone's story, and I hope I've been part of yours, even if it's for 27 minutes or 35 minutes or 12 minutes or whatever it is. Because I respect everyone that listens to this and gives me a shot. I also respect everyone who gives me a shot once and hates it and doesn't show back up. Because you know what? At least you gave it a shot. You can't hit the shot you don't take. So that's it for today. Tomorrow, I will be day 2 on the meds. Anyway, thank you all. Till tomorrow. It's the category mistake, living with anxiety. Day 1 of pills. Hopefully day 2 is even better.